the Seamstress tag. Now, no one tagged me. I mentioned that already in an earlier video, but I'm going to do it anyways. A few of you said that you'd like to see that, so I will do that for you. Okay, let's get going. First question. Who are you? I am Nikki. I'm 34. I live in Maryland, and I am a mechanic for my day job. And yeah, that's pretty much all you really need to know. When and why did you start sewing? So I learned to sew when I was in, I think, high school. Yeah, I was in high school. And my mom has always sewn, and my grandma, her mom, sewed. I actually still have a lot of my grandma's sewing supplies, thanks to my mom. When she died, she gave them, or my mom got them, and then my mom gave them to me. So, but my mom taught me on the machine, and I still have my mom's machine that she taught me how to sew on. So she taught me when I was in high school. I wanted to sew purses. And when I say purses, I don't mean the kind of nice purses that you'd buy a pattern for, the kind where they have like pockets and things. I mean, it was basically a pillowcase, but tiny, for lip gloss and stuff. So I did that, and I came up with some really creative combinations. I used to just go to Joann's and buy the remnants and stuff, and remnants of trim and things, and I would just, whatever looked good together, I'd make it. And then I would wear it to school. I'd sell it to someone right off of my shoulder, and then I would just make another one. So I was a little bit of a mini entrepreneur, or I took advantage of my friends. I'm not sure, whatever you want to call it. That's how I started. Now, I haven't sewn since then, or I hadn't. So a few years ago, I think it was maybe like 4 or 5 years ago, so whenever I moved into this house, so around 2013, yeah, around 2013 sometime, my mom came to visit, and she asked me if I wanted the sewing machine, her old sewing machine. I said, sure, why not? So she brought it down, and I just didn't touch it. In fact, there were a few times where I needed like patches sewn on my uniform, and my boyfriend did it for me with the sewing machine because I didn't want to mess with it. So I didn't touch it for years and years, and then all of a sudden I needed a piece of a Halloween costume that I just could not find anywhere online. My plan was to be Krang and the body that held Krang from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoon. Now, if you know what I'm talking about, awesome. If you don't, it's like a giant, beefy, bald man wearing tiny red underpants and suspenders, and in his belt, he has a brain, basically, a talking brain bad guy. And he's like this little squishy pink brain with tentacles. That's it. And I had the suit. I figured I could, you know, glue together the suspenders and chop up a piece of underwear to shove over the muscle suit. But I didn't have a Krang. And if you look and you try and buy Krang online, Krang is like $1 million. For a Halloween costume, no. So I decided I was going to make a plushie Krang. And it was a nightmare to sew, but I did. I busted the machine out. I got him done. I freehanded a pattern. I mean, this was like I just drew pieces and tried to do it the best I could. And it turned out not bad. Now, I don't have Krang anymore. I gave him to my brother's baby. But that's what got me going again. If I can find a picture of this costume, I will insert it here. Okay, so that's how I started up again. And then I still left the sewing machine alone for a little while after that. And then I got, you know, I don't know whether I don't know what inspired me to do it, but one day I think I was just like, I want to make a dress. And I bought some quilting cotton and bias tape in a package from the store, and I made a dress, and it was the walkaway dress, and it turned out absolutely terribly because all of the reviews online were right. The back drags the front up, and it's just a pain in the ass, and you're constantly trying to mess with it to get it to stay. But I made that dress, and if you stood still for the first 5 seconds of wearing it, it actually was pretty cute. So, you know, that worked out pretty well. Anyway, so I basically got the fever after that, and I just kept going, and I was getting better and better, and I'm okay. My success ratio improves as I go along. It's much higher now than when I started, and I've had a lot of failures, like so many failures, but I've had some wins here and there, and I feel pretty good about that, and so I learn more every time I do something. So that is that. Next question. What is my favorite or proudest make? Okay, I have a favorite and I have a proudest, and I have them with me. My proudest was this jacket, Simplicity 8055, and I am the most proud of this. Grab it because I brought it up here. It is not perfect. It is far from perfect. Because I had an idea, I was very, this is pretty terrible, whatever. I'm very proud of it. This jacket did not have a lining pattern. I had to create that. This is the first time I ever like did the bias with the lining. This was upholstery fabric, which was tricky to work with, especially around the collar. The facing is what gave me the most problems. This is probably the jankiest part of this outfit. I learned how to make covered buttons. Yeah, so it's a cool jacket. I wear it in the springtime. I love it. My boyfriend hates it. He says I look like a couch. He's probably not wrong, but it was an incredibly difficult to work with fabric. It was a new thing to me to have to draft my own lining for something. Up to this point, I don't think I had inserted a lining into anything. Well, no, yeah, I had. But this one I had to make my own lining. And what else was crazy? Oh, I underlined it. Interlined? Interlined. I interlined it, which took forever. Because there's no way I could get the seam allowances pressed flat because this fabric just doesn't press. So I had to catch stitch every single one of them down, and this jacket took me like a solid month and a half to make. And when I was done with it, I got so many compliments. Everyone thought it was so cool. I think it's cool. I think it's crazy looking, but I think it's pretty cool too. Now, the sad part is that it really is a very lightweight jacket, and it does have 3/4 length sleeves, so I basically can wear it on like 3 days in the spring and 3 days in the fall. But that's okay. That's what I do. So yeah, I'm pretty happy. Oh, I spilled something all over it too. I'll have to clean that off. Yeah, so that was my proudest. My favorite, just based on like how often I wear this damn thing, like it is wearing out. This turtleneck. This is Quick Sew 4189. This one right here. This turned out really cool. Like, it was so simple to make. It was easy to do. I loved it. It's not like finished the best. This is pre-serger, so some of the like the hem and the cuffs are a little bit crazy because my machine didn't really like to sew knits. I think I was still sewing with my mom's machine when I made this, and man, that thing hates knits. So yeah. So, but it turned out really good. I wear it at least once or twice a week in the winter. It is that comfortable. It looks nice. I just like it. So that is my favorite. All right, let's move on. My most disastrous make. Yeah, that's pretty easy. So I think I mentioned this one in a video. So I've had a lot of things where I've made it up and I was like, this just isn't what I like. This isn't turning out well. It's not my thing, or you know, some part of it just didn't go well, but I was always able to finish that thing and then kind of evaluate it when it was on. The thing that makes this pattern, McCall's 7546, so terrible is that I couldn't even finish it. I got to the placket, and this was meant to be a wearable muslin, and thank God it was that, because this was just undoable for me. I tore that placket out of there so many times that the fabric was just destroyed. There was nothing left for me to even work with. And then I think I was talking to my mom about it, and she's like, well, you're going to try it again? I was like, no, I'm not going to try it again. I've had enough of that. And I've done a button placket before. I know how to do them, but for some reason, I was not getting it, and it was just a complete disaster. I was so angry with it. That was my biggest disaster because I couldn't even work through it. I couldn't even work through it, realize my mistakes, and think I'll do better next time because I never even got to finish it. So I don't know how many more mistakes I would even made. This sucked. I hate it. I never want to touch it again. Okay, let's move on because that was rough. Number 5. My favorite place to go fabric shopping? Yeah, that's easy. Fabric Mart is my favorite place. It's simple. They have really good sales. Their quality is exactly what they tell you it is. And I'm in the Julie's Picks Club, and I get to have a little preview of what they have before I order it. So basically, if you're a company that sends me samples of things, I will most likely shop with you. It's just, then I already know what I'm gonna get. Now I'll take chances. I've shopped at fabric.com before. I've gotten some things locally from Joann's, which, you know, isn't usually that great. It's mostly like quilting stuff and fleece out this way. It's a little better in Richmond when I go down there. I can get some stuff. But yeah, hands down, the place I shop at the most often, and the place that I would have to say is my favorite, is Fabric Mart. A close second would be that crazy place in Richmond, where I bought this fancy stuff. I don't know if y'all remember the video on this stuff, but it's like $1 million to go there, but they have all the fanciest crap. That place is just cool. That place is just fun. Now, I can't often shop there, so, yeah, so that's my favorite. My most used pattern, Ginger Jeans. I've used it 3 times. I don't repeat patterns very often, but the Ginger Jeans I've done 3 times now, and it's just a good pattern. It fits me. I don't have to screw around with it. I like it. I will probably use that as my jeans pattern until eternity. Although I did get the Morgan jeans for Christmas, I also got the Sasha trouser, so, you know, I'm hoping for an equal level of awesomeness from those 2 as well. So who knows, maybe I'll have more TNTs. But for now, the Ginger Jeans is my most sewn at 3. What's next? My most dreaded sewing task. I hate, well, no one likes having to rip a seam. No one likes that. But it's not that part that bothers me. It's not the fact that I screwed something up and have to take it apart. That's annoying, but I don't hate it. I hate, you've realized your mistake, you take the seam apart. The part that I hate is having to get all those little threads out of there. It's bad enough. And then there's been times where I've been lazy and I'm like, I'm not getting those out. I'll just sew right over the top of it. And it always leads to disaster. So I know that I have to like pick the little threads off, but I hate that part. I've tried tape. I've tried like tweezers. I've tried just using my fingers. Nothing makes it more tolerable for me. I just hate it. Okay. My favorite sewing task. I like doing a cover stitched hem on my serger. That is my new favorite because it's so easy. There's like no, it just goes and it's easy. A nice long, I mean, I don't care how long it is, cover stitch on my serger. That is my favorite sewing task to do. Yeah, and they always come out so nicely. Okay. My sewing entertainment podcast, hands down, podcast. That's what I do while I'm sewing. I just over and over and over again. So, some of my favorite podcasts, of course, I love the Love to Sew podcast. I love Sewing Out Loud, and I think I listen to Clothes Making Mavens, but they were off the grid for a while there, I think. Those are the sewing podcasts I listen to, but I listen to a lot more than that. There's a ton of other podcasts that I listen to. My current, like, super fave is, We're Not Doctors, or We're No Doctors, or something. It's got Busy Phillips and Steve Agee in it, and it makes me laugh. I love it. I also listen to a lot of this stuff from the Maximum Fun networks, like Sawbones, My Brother and Me, Schmanners, Judge, is that on Maximum Fun? Judge John Hodgman, I listened to that. Court Appointed, yeah, tons of podcasts. I have more podcasts than I can listen to, and sometimes I get a little bit upset about it because I can't even keep up with the podcast. There's new and new and new and new, and I have made no headway on it. I don't even think I'm getting into the podcasts that are from before Christmas. Like, I think I'm still just trying to get, yeah. But that's what I do when I sew. So, oh, stuff you missed in history class, stuff you should know, food stuff. Yeah, tons of, I listen to tons of podcasts. The list goes on and on. Printed or PDF? Printed all the way. I don't even think I've ever, wait, did I say, yeah. I don't think I've ever used a PDF pattern. I think I would. I think I had wanted to at one point. I think I was ready to hit the button, but the thing is I wanted to print it out at work, and our printer is so in and out at work that I think it was on like one of those 2-month stretches where there's no toner, and I was just like, I don't want to deal with printing this out at home. So our printer is back up again, so maybe, but I can't even remember what I wanted. I don't know. I just like the paper. I like to have it. I don't like screwing around with printing crap and sticking it all together. It's bad enough that I have to, trace everything else out. Who knows? Maybe I try one and it blows my mind and changes my whole life. Probably not. But, I'm not saying no. I'm just saying I haven't yet. Okay? So for now, printed. What sewing machine do I use? I have a Husqvarna Opal 650, Viking Opal 650. That is my sewing machine. I have my mom's old Kenmore from like 1992 or whatever. I use that one for top stitching when I make jeans. And then I have the Baby Lock Evolution for my serger, and that is a combo cover stitch. It is amazing, and I might be a little bit in love with it. But my sewing, my Viking is really good too. Yeah, I love it. So, do I have any other hobbies? Yeah. Not nearly as big or time consuming as this one is. When I'm at work, it's sometimes on midnights, if I don't have a lot going on, it is tough to stay awake. So what I do while I'm there is I just draw, basically doodles. I don't draw anything that's recognizable as like a human. It's mostly just shapes. Like I draw geometric pictures and prints and things. And that keeps me awake. It keeps my hand busy, but it keeps my mind free. Like it's almost like meditation, if you will. So that's what I do to fill up my work free time, and I'm very highly unsupervised at work, so no one cares what I'm doing there. Although it does not look like it today. Normally my nails are done, and because I'm a mechanic, they get trashed very quickly, so like if I do my nails, it'll last for maybe a day or two, and then it's destroyed. But then I just get to do it over and over again, and so I've kind of gotten pretty good at that, and I really enjoy doing it. It's a nice thing that I do for myself to try to feel like a girl in a place that is mostly men. And yeah, so I do that, do a little nail art on that. And then the only other thing is I collect perfume. I have tons of it. I love it. I like to smell different every day. Yeah, so I have a pretty solid collection of perfume. That's something I really enjoy. But that I would call less of a hobby and more of a enjoyable collection. Yeah, that's pretty much what I like to do. I used to read a lot more often, but I just don't that much anymore. I mean, I read a lot, but I mostly read like online content. So yeah, that's it. Okay, Seamstress Tag done. I hope you're satisfied. It was not as weird as I thought it was going to be. So yeah, let me know what you think. I think that's it for me for now. Okay.